Welcome students. In this video, we will learn about subordinators. If, unless, because, although, whether, and whenever are examples of subordinators. We will also learn how to use because of, in spite of, and regardless of. Now, notice the use of the subordinators, if and unless, in the following examples. John will stay home if the weather isn't nice. John will stay home unless the weather is nice. If and unless are used to introduce subordinate clauses, that is, embedded statements. These clauses have a subject. For example, the weather, and a verb phrase. The essential meaning of unless is, if not. Exercise 1. Change the statements, with if, to corresponding statements, with unless. Change those, with unless, to statements, with if. Example 1. John will buy a new bicycle, unless he can fix his old one today. John will buy a new bicycle, if he can't fix his old one today. Example 2. John usually goes to the movies on Friday, if he doesn't have to study. John usually goes to the movies on Friday, unless he has to study. Now, it is your turn doing exercise. You can pause the video while doing the exercise. You should notice the use of the subordinators, because, and although. For example, it was raining. Mary wore a raincoat, because it was raining. John wanted to go out, although it was raining. Because introduces a fact or explanation, to support the idea of the clause. A clause introduced, by although, states a contrary fact or an argument against the idea of the main clause. Though, and even though, are similar in meaning, to although. Use even if, to introduce a supposition rather than a fact. For example, even if the weather is bad tomorrow, John will want to go out. Additional examples. Although the traffic held us up, we got to the airport on time. Even though the traffic held us up, we got to the airport on time. I forgot my appointment, although my secretary reminded me of it. I forgot my appointment, even though my secretary reminded me of it. We don't know who he is, but even if he is the mayor, we won't let him talk. Exercise 2. Make new sentences using because, or although. Use the word which is the most appropriate. John went to bed early last night. He was tired. John went to bed early last night because he was tired. Mary came to class today. She wasn't feeling well. Mary came to class today although she wasn't feeling well. Now, it is your turn doing exercise. You can pause the video while doing the exercise. Notice the use of the subordinator, whether or not. For example, I wear a raincoat if it is raining. I wear a raincoat if it isn't raining. I wear a raincoat whether or not it is raining. Whether is similar in meaning to if. Both words introduce conditions. Whether or not introduces a condition, and its opposite. Whether or not can be separated. For example, I wear a raincoat whether it is raining or not. Exercise 3. Answer the questions using whether or not. Example 1. Do you study if you are tired? I study whether or not I am tired. Example 2. Are you going to go to Chicago if John goes? I am going to go to Chicago whether or not John goes. Now, it is your turn doing exercise. You can pause the video while doing the exercise. Subordinate clauses may precede the main clause. I provide examples for you below. I suggest you read them loudly to improve your pronunciation. Have you read the examples given? Very good. Whenever means at any time, or every time. It is used like the other subordinators. For example, I go swimming whenever the weather is nice. I wear a raincoat whenever it rains. I read whenever I have time. Notice the use of because of, in spite of, and regardless of. Examples. Mary wore a raincoat because it was raining. Mary wore a raincoat because of the rain. John didn't wear a raincoat although it was raining. John didn't wear a raincoat in spite of the rain. I wear a raincoat whether or not the weather is nice. I wear a raincoat regardless of the weather. The meaning of the two members of each pair of sentences is essentially the same. The subordinators, because, although, and whether introduce clauses that are equivalent to independent statements. On the other hand, because of, in spite of, and regardless of, precede noun phrases. The rain, the weather. Exercise 4. Make sentences with because of. Examples. I stayed home because it was raining. I stayed home because of the rain. I came here because I wanted to take the English course. I came here because of the English course. Now, it is your turn doing exercise. You can pause the video while doing the exercise. Exercise 5. Make sentences with in spite of. Examples. We went on a picnic although the weather was cool. We went on a picnic in spite of the cool weather. Jack went with us although he had a lot of work to do. Jack went with us in spite of his work. Ruth went too, although she had a cold. Ruth went to, in spite of her cold. Now, it is your turn doing exercise. You can pause the video while doing the exercise. Summary exercise. Consider the following situation. Then complete the statements by continuing the same theme. For example, Oscar is friendly and carefree. He is happy to give everything to his friends, who spend most of his large amounts of money. There are some incomplete sentences below. I suggest you practicing by filling the missing part of the sentences, as example given above. Well done, students. You have finished chapter or lesson 23. I hope you keep practicing. See you again, and thanks for your attention. Bye.